Residents living in areas supplied by the Mooikloof substation in Tshwane will have to wait 9 days for power to be restored. This after the substation caught fire on Wednesday. Newzroom Afrika's Linda Mnisi joins us live from the capital. Linda, good to speak to you again. 9 days, a long time for residents to wait.
Absolutely, and you'll remember there are processes before work can start, with restoring power in that particular power station. We know that it was gutted by fire on Wednesday. About 26 panels were destroyed in the municipality, saying that they are working hard to ensure that they're going to be replacing those panels. But just on the update, I'm joined now by Hilgard Matthews from the municipality. Hilgard, thank you so much for your time. I want us to talk about this 9 days and how you came to the determination that it would take 9 days. From my understanding, you're right at the beginning of this process. You haven't even started fixing the electricity.
That's absolutely true. And I'm so glad that you actually asked about how we got to the 9 days. Now, yesterday was already day one. And in terms of day one, what we had to make sure is that we get the go-ahead from the structural engineer and also the insurance loss adjuster that we can actually access the site properly. Remember, up until yesterday, we only had the initial assessments, because if we had gone in, it might have caused us not to have our insurance paid out, because it might seem like we have tampered with the scene. Also, we had to make sure that the walls and other structures of the substation are safe for the team to go in. So yesterday afternoon, we got that go-ahead. And so during the evening, all the different plans were put in place in terms of what is the approach. Today, as we are speaking, the teams are cleaning the substation. You can imagine all the soot, all the dirt all over the place, because we are bringing in electrical components that don't want soot and other types of dust all over the place. So before we can bring in the equipment, we first need to make sure that the place is clean. We take out the old panels. We need to weld. We need to make it smaller to get it out of the site. Then the second part is the roof was completely destroyed. It was a roof that was built with wooden trusses many years ago. So obviously, with a fire, it just made it impossible for the team to work with that roof hanging over you. So the roof is being removed, and obviously we need to rebuild that. And as we speak, the teams are on site and they are busy with that. Once the roof is on, we can then bring in the panels and the stages that we will use to fix the substation, and that will take place over the weekend. In terms of our determination, by Monday, the roof should be up, and the panels, we should bring them in and start doing the other work.
Let's talk now about the cause of the fire. I know this process is really at its infant stage, but there are, of course, talks of a sabotage here. Some people saying that, this could perhaps be as a result of the new mayor being elected in the municipality. What exactly have you found? Could you link it to possible sabotage?
Well, in terms from our technical teams that I've spent time with since Wednesday when the fire started, I can tell you that has not surfaced, not one moment, as a possible reason why the substation burned down. And I don't think that we should go to such speculation. The city is bringing in a third party to assist us with the investigation. It just brings a little bit more objectivity. And then we know that if government or a government institution comes up with its own finding, it would be questioned to say, who investigated? Was it yourself? How do you investigate yourself? So we brought in a third party, and those third parties are assisting us in making a determination in terms of what had happened. And I think we should let that process have its own course, and then at the end of that, we as a city would be able to know what had happened.
And before talking about, the impact on the revenue that you collect as a municipality, I just want to find out, in terms of this structural integrity? You say it is safe because one of your employees got injured in the process.
Yes, absolutely. And that was on Wednesday. There were various teams working in the area because we had quite a few outages in the area on the day. And so there was a team that was dispatched to go and see what was happening. And our one employee, as he entered the site, he then smelled and realized that this is something that he needs to get out of. And as he was basically just retreating, the site then exploded. Now, what we suspect, and I am not a fire expert, is that it was smoldering, and as he opened the door, oxygen obviously just assisted the fire, and the explosion occurred. Fortunately, he's not seriously hurt. He was admitted at hospital, and he was, he had gone home the following day already. And we don't want the media to be asking him too many questions, because obviously he has to work through the trauma of surviving that explosion with such little and minor injuries.
Yeah, and lastly, the impact of this kind of, explosion or fire. We know the municipality hasn't been doing well. It's practically, really struggling financially. What does this do, for the municipality?
Before I get to the financial impact for the municipality, I think what we need to acknowledge first is the impact on the quality of life of those who are supplied by the city from that substation, because it does supply quite a huge area in the east of Pretoria. And obviously there are people who need electricity for medical appliances and other things. And if you are in the same boat, if you have got a small baby, if you have a sick person at home that needs care, and you need hot water, just all of those things, and we need to acknowledge that. And that's the impact that we need to look at first. And as a city, we obviously we are mindful of that, and we apologize once again for the inconvenience caused to anybody. There are businesses as well that need to trade. Now, think about it. Somebody needs to get a generator, the cost of the generator over the next few days. So we know it's costly with the fuel prices that have just increased. Now, coming to the city itself, obviously we have a huge area within the city now, where the customers are without electricity. They're not going to be using electricity, so we wouldn't be able to bill for services over those days. And obviously it would be a reduction in terms of revenue. One of the things is that, as I indicated, that we do have insurance on our infrastructure, and so that is going to assist, obviously, but we can't predict whether the insurance will pay out, because we need to. They're doing their own investigation as well. So obviously, in terms of revenue, it's got an impact on the city. But as a city, we need to make sure that we pull through, not only the residents, but also the team over the next few weeks, and so that services can be restored, and so that the residents can use the service uninterrupted.
All right, Hildegard Matthews there from the city of Tshwane, giving us an update, Hugo, in terms of those 9 days that the residents of the affected areas will spend without electricity.
Interestingly, he spoke to many of the individuals that will be impacted. I mean, he talks about families that have young children, or individuals that are using some medical monitors, if you will. So the impact, Linda, is far-reaching.
Absolutely, Hugo. I mean, he spoke also about the issues around businesses, and as you've seen earlier on, we were in somewhat of an area where there are a lot of businesses, and from generally what we saw, a number of businesses had closed today because obviously there's no electricity. And from speaking to the people in the area, they're also affected, because how do you get essentials when there are no businesses that are operating. You speak about the traffic lights. Obviously, we know when there's no electricity, traffic is affected. So there are far-reaching implications to this issue around electricity and power outage. Hugo?
Interestingly, Linda, in one of our earlier reports, one of the representatives, one of the spokespeople from Eskom, talking about the need for citizens to be vigilant and look out for these perpetrators that go about digging up pipes and cables. Because obviously, as in this instance, it affects all of us.
Absolutely. I mean, you'll remember in an area like Bedford View that we went to yesterday, they were speaking about technology that would be used to detect when criminal activity happens and when these cables are tampered with. That would trigger a reaction from the security and law enforcement agencies. But the importance of the role that is played also by community members in ensuring that they report such crimes when they happen. I'll refer again to the issue around Bedford View. We were told that, the perpetrators, the alleged perpetrators in that matter, did this during the day. They dug during the days where people could see them. So the role then that was played by the community became, important, although there were also still questions around whether or not a syndicate, operated in that area. So that is what it means, basically, the issue around community involvement in the fight against these types of crimes.
Our reporter Linda Mnisi coming to us from Tshwane, where residents will go 9 days without electricity, and that conversation is just had with somebody from the local municipality. And very little more that they can do outside of the due process, which will take 9 days. And a call, obviously, on citizens to be vigilant around individuals that go around digging and stealing cables.